Okie dokie artichoke. I'm going to summarize a few things here for you regarding shared lessons, and we're going to look at a couple of resources that are available to you. These general considerations are very general considerations because you have this pretty exhaustive list in your PDF overview for Module 4. So I'm down here on starting on page 13. You'll have these all printed out and put in your binder to look at. But he goes through the general things to consider here in a little bit more detail and really specific considerations. So make sure that you utilize that resource. And then I did mention in the last lesson that the class duration that Neil suggests are these right here. And then I have slightly amended those myself. Really, I guess the first 4 I have upped by 5 minutes each. That just made more sense to me personally. You can use whatever you want. And regarding resources, there are in the teacher library some videos of actual shared lessons being taught, actually by me. So Neil had these videos taped professionally several years ago, and it's the first 2 lessons. I'm going to show you where those are now, although I've got it spelled out here. So we're going to go to the home page of the teacher intranet, and we'll go up here to the top menu where it says library. If you click on that, you can click on library. And then there's 2 ways you can go about this. You can look in the categories, and under managing your classes, here's a category for shared lessons. And here you'll see the same content from the ITTP is also in the library by category. And here are shared lesson examples, me. So these were the first 2 classes, and the foundation session was delivered in the first 2 classes. Although now as I mentioned before, I now deliver that over the first 4 lessons. And you can see it's broken down by every section that I taught. Here is a video of us actually working on, I think it was Dreams Come True. I'm just going to skip ahead so you can see what this video looks like.
So we always start 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, good job. So remember, your thumb is always.
So there you have the opportunity to watch some actual teaching. Now you can also always search the library. This is a great function here. So if I just typed in shared lessons, it brings up everything in the library that is related to shared lessons. So that's a fantastic way to find some resources for yourself. The other resource that I strongly recommend you check out is Simpedia, if you haven't yet. That comes up later in the ITTP as well. Here's one way to get to it. You can click on the library menu and then click on Simpedia, or you can just go to your URL and type in simpedia.info. This is a very vast database of simply music teaching related posts. And you can search here for shared lessons. If you search that, you're going to get a lot of results. I think it tells you somewhere. Yep, 586 results. Now, some of them may be not as helpful for exactly what you're looking for, but you can search more specific terms as well. The other way that you can look for this topic is by going into the categories down here. If you scroll down from the home page to this blue section, and then you can see all the different categories that are covered here. So under studio management, we've got shared lessons, and that will bring up 144 articles or threads about shared lessons that have been categorized as that's the main topic of that thread. So those are a couple of wonderful places where you can get just all kinds of insight and experience and ideas with regard to teaching shared lessons. So please take advantage of that. You'll find it extremely helpful. I've coached a lot of other Simply Music teachers with regard to shared lessons. Many people are uncomfortable with it at the beginning, particularly if they have taught private lessons in the past and this is something new. I kind of have a system that I've used for coaching them through all of the stages of combining their existing students into shared lessons or creating brand new classes of shared lessons. And I have a shared lesson course that I've created. So I'd like to share that outline with you now. So we start out by addressing mindset because that can be a big hurdle for some teachers. And sometimes it's just getting your head around how is this beneficial for students. So that is something that we address in the course. Also, generating enough inquiries. If you've just got students trickling in, then it's going to be really difficult for you to form some groups, several groups. And once you do receive some inquiries, what do you do with those? I've got some ways of automating that to save you lots of time. Enrolling students, same thing. This is more about getting systems in place to keep your business running efficiently and not losing track of anybody. Configuring shared lessons is what ages do you put together? Does it matter if they have prior experience and that kind of thing? And then the actual process of teaching. So I've got lots of tips and strategies. Let's say you've got a student in a group that moves more quickly than the rest of them. What are some ways you can do that? If somebody needs to move from one shared lesson to a different one for a more appropriate pace, how can you handle that? And the scheduling issues that inevitably will arise. And then we just address some issues that will come up in shared lessons that you would not have in a private lesson environment. So behavior things and issues, along those lines. So I go into quite a bit of detail in each of these areas and share a lot of resources that I have created and a lot of experience and insight. If it looks like something you might be interested in the future, then you'll know you can come back to this